Good morning, students. Today we will be studying fundamentals of electrical engineering. This is the foremost important for electrical engineering as you are going to study in your third semester. Fundamentals of electrical engineering, or you can call it as basics of electrical engineering. In this chapter you will learn about various keywords or various principles which will be dealing in electrical engineering in your upcoming years. So first chapter of fundamental engineering is, or we call it as FEE2. First chapter of fundamental of electrical engineering is basic overview of DC circuits. So first is DC circuit. What do you mean by DC circuit? DC stands for direct current. Direct current is unidirectional flow of electric charge. It is produced by sources such as batteries or solar cell. Unidirectional means when current flows through one particular direction. Here in graph I can show like direction of current is in one direction only. So this is DC current, which means it is unidirectional flow of electric charge. Second is current. You might have heard about this word current. It is used in electrical engineering. Current is rate of flow of charge through any section of wire. Rate of flow of charge. Rate of flow of charge means when charge is divided by time. Rate in technical language means when particular quantity is divided by time. So rate of flow of charge means charge divided by time. I is equal to Q upon T. I is representation of current, Q is charge, and T is time. So unit of current is ampere. Unit of current is ampere. Unit of charge is coulomb, and unit of time is hour, seconds, or whatever you feel like. It is rate of flow of charge through any cross section of wire. This is current. Second comes potential difference. Potential difference is that which causes current to flow in a closed circuit. When we have to make a current in a to flow in a closed circuit, suppose this is a circuit, and if current has to flow in it, what makes the current flow in a particular circuit is potential difference. Second comes voltage. Voltage is potential difference between 2 points of conductor carrying a current of 1 ampere when power is dissipated between these 2 points is equal to 1 watt. So unit of voltage is volt. Now comes resistance. So in your final chapter in section B, every time there is a question, what is resistance? What are its unit? Give a formula for resistance and write down the various quantities on which resistance depends. So this is the question of 5 marks and it is almost in every year. So resistance is obstruction to flow of electric current through it. Obstructions means when there is a stoppage, or you can say in other language rukavat. Obstructions mean rukavat. When electric current is stopped, when electric current is obstructed, that is resistance. So resistance is obstruction to flow of electric current through it. Now resistance depends upon two basic quantities. First is length and other is area of cross section. R is directly proportional to L, which means resistance is directly proportional to length. This is the sign for directly proportional. Directly proportional means with increase in resistance, length will also be increased, or with decrease in resistance, length will also be decreased. So resistance is directly proportional to length. Other comes resistance is inversely proportional to A. A is area of cross section. Resistance is inversely proportional to A. Inversely proportional means with increase in resistance, area of cross section is decreased. This is vice versa. If R will increase, A will decrease. If A will increase, R will decrease. length is directly proportional, A is area of cross section is inversely proportional. So when I write this, R is directly proportional to L upon A. This will be my formula representation. R is directly proportional to L upon A. And if I have to remove this proportionality sign, I need to add some constant. So what I will do, I will write R is equal to, this is rho, this is one constant, R is equal to rho L upon A. Rho here is specific resistivity. We'll do definition of specific resistivity too later on. So this rho is specific resistivity. Formula for resistance will be R is equal to rho L upon A. We will be using this formula in the numericals, which will be in this chapter only. So in those numericals, length would be given, A would be given, value of rho would be given, and we have to calculate resistance in it. So how can we calculate? We'll just need to implement this formula, R is equal to rho L upon A, and value of resistance could be found very easily. Now comes unit of resistance. Unit of resistance is ohm. Unit of resistance is ohm, OHM. And how resistance is written? It is denoted like this. This is the symbolic representation of resistance. So again I repeat, resistance is obstruction to flow of electric current through it. R is equal to rho L upon A. How it is derived? R is directly proportional to L. R is inversely proportional to area of cross section. We need to remove the proportionality sign, and I will write R is equal to rho L upon A. Rho is specific resistivity. Unit of resistance is ohm. Now other thing which is also very important, it is Ohm's law. Again, it is in 10 marks question. Sometimes it is in 10 marks question, or sometimes it is in 5 marks question. This is very important. Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that voltage of a conductor is directly proportional to, again directly proportional word is here. Directly proportional means when voltage will be increased, other quantity will also be increased. Which will be the other quantity? That we'll read now. Voltage of a conductor is directly proportional to current flowing through it. Now here are two quantities, one is voltage, other is current, and the word which we have in it is directly proportional, which means voltage is directly proportional to current. Here it is written, V is directly proportional to I. Again I will repeat, Ohm's law states that voltage of a conductor is directly proportional to current flowing through it, but with a condition. What is that condition? Read out. Provided physical conditions such as temperature, pressure remain same. Only then voltage will be directly proportional to current, when this condition would be there. Condition is physical conditions such as temperature should be same. Then voltage is directly proportional to I. Again I have to remove the proportionality sign. I need to add some constant. It will be R. V is equal to IR. This is Ohm's law. In your exam, when you will get the question, it will be in two parts. First will be state Ohm's law. Write down its formula, its mathematical expression. Other would be, B part would be, what are limitations of Ohm's law? Rather, what are disadvantages of Ohm's law? There are two disadvantages of Ohm's law. First is Ohm's law can't be applied to the circuit consisting of electronic tubes, because such elements are bilateral. What do you mean by bilateral? Bilateral means they behave in a different way when direction of flow of current is reversed, as in diode PNP or NPN. Ohm's law is not implemented in electronic circuits. Why it is not implemented in electronic circuit? Because electronic circuits are such elements which are bilateral. Again, bilateral means which behave in a different way when direction of flow of current is reversed. Other is, it can't be applied to circuit containing non-linear elements. First is Ohm's law is not applicable on some of electronic tubes. Other is it is not applied on non-linear elements. So other is, till now we have studied about what is current, what is potential difference, what is voltage, what is resistance, and what is Ohm's law. Now we come to another part, which is series circuit or parallel circuit. We have three types of circuit here. First is series circuit, other will be parallel circuit, and third one would be series and parallel both. First we'll study about series, then we'll study about parallel, and then combination of these two circuit is series parallel circuit. Now comes series circuit. Here term which we will use will be resistance. When resistors are connected end to end. Again I will read, when resistors are connected end to end so that they can form only one path, which means flow of current, then resistance are said to be connected in a series. I can show you in a diagram. Here in a diagram, it is the starting point and it is the end point. Here three resistors are connected. This is R1, R2 and R3. Here you can see three resistors are connected, and they are connected in that way that they form a single path, which means current flowing through R1, R2 and R3 would be same. This is R1, we call it as resistor 1, R2 resistor 2, R3 resistor 3, and I is current here. This is the symbolic representation of resistor. This is resistance. R1, R2 and R3. So current will be same, voltage would be differ. In R1 voltage would be V1, in R2 voltage would be V2, in R3 voltage would be V3. So as per Ohm's law, this is Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, right? But current is same in it, so I will write V is equal to IR1, IR2 plus IR3. Current is same, I will be same, so I can write it down, R1 plus R2 plus R3. I will bring this I down of V and it will be like R1 plus R2 plus R3, and as per Ohm's law it is V is equal to IR, so R will be equal to V upon I. So I can write down V upon I is equal to R, so R will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. This is series circuit. When a number of resistors are connected in series, the equivalent resistance given by arithmetic sum of their individual resistance. This is equivalent resistance. This is total resistance. How total resistance can be calculated? By adding sum of these three resistance. Suppose you will get a numerical. You have a value of R1 2 ohm, 2 ohm and 2 ohm. And you have to calculate total resistance. Total resistance would be R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Value of R1 is 2, value of R2 is 2, value of R3 is 2. So total resistance, I can also write it as RT. Total resistance would be 6 ohm, right? So in a series circuit, current is same, voltage varies. When the resistors are connected in such a way that the path is same, it is series resistance. So in a series circuit, there are three conditions which we have to understand always, which is same current flows through all circuit. Like current which is flowing through R1 will flow through R2 and R3. Applied voltage is equal to sum of voltage drop across different parts of circuit. Last is different resistors have their individual voltage drop. Like this was R1, it has V1, R2 will be having V2 and R3 will be having V3, which means voltage drop will be different in each resistor. So now we'll study about parallel resistance. In parallel resistance, the circuit in which one end of resistance is joined to a common point. Here you have to understand a common point, and other end is joined to another common point. so that there are many paths for current flow as number of resistance, which means current will be varied. Here I have three resistors, R1, R2 and R3. Earlier in series resistance, current was same, but in parallel resistors, current would be different for each resistor. Their voltage was different, here voltage would be same, which is R1 will have its I1, R2 I2 and R3 I3. Now again, as per Ohm's law, we'll do V is equal to IR, I is equal to V upon R, and I have to make out current of each resistor. I1 will be equal to V upon R1, I2 will be equal to V upon R2, I3 will be equal to V upon R3. If I have to add on total current, I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. I need to add value of I1, which will be equal to V upon R1, I2 V upon R2, I3 V upon R3. V is common in all three quantities. So I'll make out V as a common, 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So I is equal to V 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. I upon V will be equal to 1 upon R1, 1 upon R2, 1 upon R3. So this is for parallel circuit. Now comes other one, conductance. What is conductance? This is the numeric representation of conductance. It is G is equal to 1 upon R. So conductance, it is the property of material to permit electric current flow through it. Earlier which we studied was resistance, which obstructed the electric current flow through it. Opposite of resistance is conductance. It is allowing it, material to permit, it is giving permission the electric current to flow through it. Unit of conductance is mho, MHO, and just a reverse of resistance, it is represented like this. So a numerical formula for resistance is G is equal to 1 upon R. G is how we write down conductance. This is how it is denoted. G is equal to 1 upon R. Value of R we have learnt, R is equal to rho L upon A. So where R was written, I wrote R rho L upon A. Just bringing rho up this side, it is like this, A upon L, and again 1 upon rho, I have written K and place of 1 upon rho. So it is G is equal to K A upon L, where K is constant and it is also known as conductivity. So conductance is, it is the property of material to permit electric current to flow through it. This is conductance. Now other comes the most important thing, which is resistivity. Resistivity, specific resistivity. R is equal to rho L upon A. L is length, A is area of cross section, R is resistance. This is resistivity. Factors upon which resistance depends, it is length, area of cross section, nature of material, and temperature. In your 10 marks for blanks, every time it is one blank is there. When resistance increases, temperature is dash. When resistance increases, temperature is also increased. So R is equal to rho L upon A. Rho is specific resistivity. So if I have to make out formula of rho, it will be RA upon L, and unit of rho is ohms meter. How it is defined? It is defined as resistance offered by 1 meter length of conductor of material having area of cross section 1 meter square. So factors upon which resistivity depends, it only depends upon temperature. Resistivity depends upon temperature only. Now we'll study about difference in AC and DC. This is also very important. So in first chapter you have 3-4 most important question. First was, what is resistance? What are the factors on which resistance depends? Write down the formula or mathematical expression for resistance. Other was Ohm's law, limitations of Ohm's law. Then you can get question about derive the expression for series circuit, derive expression for parallel circuit. And other important would be, what is the difference between AC and DC? AC stands for alternating alternating current. DC stands for direct current. Magnitude of AC is variable. I can show you symbolic representation of AC. It is like this. It is alternating current. One time it is in positive quadrant, other side it is in negative quadrant. It is positive, negative, positive, negative. And for DC it flows in one direction. Magnitude of AC is variable. Magnitude of DC is constant. It changes its direction regularly in a circuit. So you can see how it is changing. It changes its direction regularly in the circuit, but for a DC it flows in one direction. Now alternating voltages can be stepped up or stepped down with the help of transformer, but DC can't be stepped up or stepped down. For alternating voltage it can be stepped up or stepped down, but DC it can't be stepped up or stepped down. Next is AC is transmitted at very high voltage, but DC can't be transmitted at very high voltage. It is done at very low voltages only. Losses for ACs are small and losses for DC is large. These are 5 differences between AC and DC. Next comes electric potential. What is electric potential? Potential in layman language you can call it as some capacity. So electric potential is capacity of a charged body to do work. Capacity of a charged body to do work. Next we will study. So here are the 2 basic laws. Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff laws are very useful in solving electric circuit, which can be easily solved by Ohm's law, which can't be easily solved. First, electric circuits are solved by Ohm's law, and those circuits can't be solved by Ohm's law. We do it by Kirchhoff's law. These laws were first expressed by, this is the name of scientist who discovered these laws. These laws were first expressed by Gustav Kirchhoff law. So Kirchhoff law, Kirchhoff first law is the algebraic sum of all the currents meeting at one junction point in an electric circuit is 0. I repeat, the algebraic sum of all the currents meeting at one junction point in electric circuit is 0. Here in the diagram you can see there are 4 currents, I1, I2, I3, I4. They are moving in one or another direction, but the moment when they meet at particular junction, their sum is equal to 0. So we'll be doing this expression. Consider 4 wires meeting at point O and carrying current I1, I2, I3 and I4. Suppose these are 4 wires. They are meeting at a point O with a current of different capacities I1, I2, I3, I4. Now for numericals, 2 things you have to make in your mind always are, if we take a sign of current flowing towards O, suppose this is I2, this is going towards O, we'll take I2 as a positive node, and I4 it is going away from O, so we'll take it as a negative. If we take the sign of current flowing through towards O as positive, then the current flowing away from point O will be their negative sign. So now if I apply Kirchhoff law, what was Kirchhoff law? That algebraic sum of all the point meeting at one junction point is 0, which means I1, I2, I3, I4 is equal to 0. I1 is positive because it is going towards O. I1 will be positive. I2 again will be positive. Why? Because it is going towards O. I3 will be negative. Why? Because it is going away from O. I3 is negative. I4 will be negative. Again, why? Because it is going away from O. So if I add, it will be summation I with equivalent current is equal to 0, or I could write it down I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 or I4. Another way to write down Kirchhoff law is sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current. This was Kirchhoff's current law. Next come Kirchhoff's voltage law, which is the sum of incoming. This was the first law only. I can write it down. The sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current at any junction point in electric circuit. So now is second law. Second law states that in any closed circuit, the algebraic sum of product of current and resistance plus the algebraic sum of all the EMF is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of all the EMF, I'll write it down as E, plus algebraic sum of current and algebraic sum of resistance is equal to 0. Or I could write down E plus, as Ohm's law V is equal to IR, I can write it down algebraic sum of V is equal to 0. This law is true because starting from any point in a closed circuit and going back to point, there is no increase or decrease in potential. As in Ohm's first law, for the sign, we learned two things. When current is going towards O, it was positive, and when it was going away from O, it was negative. So here again we'll study about sign of EMF and voltage drop. Sign of EMF. EMF is electromotive force. This is the basic thing due to which current flows. EMF is due to which charge is developed, and due to charge current is developed. A rise in potential should be considered as a positive, while fall in potential should be considered as a negative. Thus, how rise and fall can be differentiated. If we go from negative terminal to positive terminal, there will be rise, so it will be considered as a positive. And if I go from positive to negative, it will be fall, so we consider it as a negative. This is sign of EMF, which means rise is positive, fall is negative. What is rise? Rise means flowing from negative to positive. And what is fall? Fall means flowing from a positive to negative. Now, sign of voltage drop. There is a voltage drop in resistance due to flow of current through it. If we go with the current, the voltage drop should be taken as a negative, because current flow from higher to lower potential. This will be the fall in potential, so it is considered to be negative. If we go against the current flow, the voltage drop should be taken as a positive. So these two things we have to keep in our mind while solving the numericals. So Kirchhoff's first law was sum of all the currents meeting at one junction point is 0, which means I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4. And second law was sum of EMF plus sum of voltage drop is equal to 0. These two things you have to keep in your mind while solving numerical. You have to see whether Kirchhoff's first law is applicable over it or Kirchhoff's second law is applicable over it. While applying Kirchhoff's first law or second law, you have to make in your mind considering the positive or negative signs in it. Kirchhoff's first law was I1 is equal to I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4, which means sum of all the currents meeting at one junction point is 0. This is Kirchhoff's first law. And Kirchhoff's second law is, in any closed circuit, the algebraic sum of product of current and resistance. Product of current and resistance is voltage. This we have done in Ohm's law. Plus algebraic sum of all the EMF in the circuit is 0, which means E plus V is equal to summation of E plus summation of V is equal to 0. So this was all for your first chapter. Next we'll study about star and delta connections or conversions of star and delta in your next class. Thank you.